Hey everyone, it's Phil Frost from Main Street ROI. I want to welcome you to how Main Street ROI can help you grow your business with Facebook ads. Hopefully you can see my screen. You should see it changing to the housekeeping slide. I want to encourage everyone to post questions to the chat window. I see Carly, you found the chat window. Everyone else could just type in hello, maybe where you're dialing in from. Also, let me know if you can hear me. That's always helpful. All right, thank you, Thomas. Looks like you figured out the chat window. Thank you, Chet. All right, I'm getting some messages here, so that is a good sign. We're using a new system today. Usually use GoToWebinar. This is Webinar Jam with our first presentation using this tool. Nice. Got a lot of messages floating in here. I always recommend you turn off distractions. You'll get the most out of this if you're not also checking Facebook, watching the news channel on TV, or scrolling through emails. And as always, I have a couple quick polls. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that here. First question you should see on your screen is, are you currently advertising with Facebook ads? Just two answers, yes or no. I see some folks are answering. And currently we've got everyone on the line is currently, nope, just dropped down. About 90% are currently advertising. 92%, 93%, and the rest are not. So I'm going to close that out. And I have one more poll. Let me publish that. The question here is, what is your current or anticipated Facebook ads monthly budget? Less than 500 per month, 500 to 1,000 per month, 1,000 to 5,000 per month, or more than 5,000 per month? Okay, great. I see some answers coming in here. We've got, looks like about 75% in the less than $500 per month range, 17% in that 500 to 1,000 range. That just bumped up to 20, and it's still shuffling quite a bit. About 6% in the 1,000 to 5,000 range, and about 10% more than 5,000. All right, let me close that out. Looks like that worked. All right, great. If this is your first presentation, you're probably wondering who the heck is Main Street ROI. We are a digital marketing agency. We provide services as well as training. Like in our services, we provide SEO, Google AdWords advertising, Facebook ads advertising, Bing ads, as well as WordPress development. We also provide a lot of training on those topics to teach businesses how to do the marketing themselves or in-house. We provide a lot of free training on our blog via our email newsletter. We also have a lot of paid training courses on our site. If you go to mainstreetroi.com/training, you'll see lots of our paid courses that go more in depth. And we also provide one-on-one consulting. And if you are a first-time attendee here, you're probably wondering, who the heck am I? Again, my name's Phil Frost. I'm the founder of Main Street ROI. I just told you that we are a digital marketing agency. To date, we've helped over 2,000 businesses with their digital marketing, and my thought leadership has been featured in Forbes, Inc., Amex, as well as Mashable. And this is my favorite slide. I'm also the proud father of these two cute kids. We've got Violet on the left. She's now 5, but she will always correct me and say she's actually 5 1/4 because her birthday is in January. We've got my son on the right. He is now officially 3. His birthday was April 2nd. My beautiful wife, Erin, in the middle. And we live on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And our office is here on 23rd and 6th in Manhattan. All right, so let's dive in. So how can we help grow your business with Facebook ads? Here's what we'll cover. First, I'm going to talk briefly about why I would recommend you invest in Facebook ads for everyone that's not already. Why choose Main Street ROI to help you with Facebook ads. I'll walk through our approach. I'll show you 2 case studies. I'll go through our services, schedule, and fees. We'll touch on next steps if you're interested in getting started. And we'll have live Q&A at the end. Okay, so first, why invest in Facebook? So I'm going to touch on 3 reasons. The first is the precision targeting. And that's really what Facebook ads kind of promotes. That's really why marketers gravitate toward Facebook ads. They have incredible targeting capabilities to pinpoint your ideal buyers, and you can actually get into some pretty interesting data as far as buying data. So you can see and target people who have made purchases or express purchasing intent around certain products and services. So it gets pretty interesting when you dig into Facebook targeting. So the way they break it down, there's the obvious demographic targeting where you get into gender, age, geographic location. Then you can dig a little bit deeper, get into education levels, income levels. And then where I think it gets interesting is the behavioral targeting, which is what I was talking about previously. Facebook actually buys and integrates data from, for example, credit card companies. So they have data on buying behavior, and that's all anonymous data that they are able to link up to accounts in Facebook. And then advertisers like us can go in and laser target exactly who we want. They also have measurable results. So they have what's called conversion tracking. That way you can see how many website visitors you're getting. Taking a step back, you can see how many impressions your ads received. So how many people actually saw the ad, how many people clicked on that ad and went to your website. And then ultimately you want to know how many leads were generated, whether that's let's say a web form that was submitted, maybe somebody requested a quote, scheduled an appointment. If you set up phone call tracking, you can also see how many phone calls were made just from your Facebook ads. And then finally, you want to be able to track that to sales. And you can do that with Facebook ads. As you can imagine, there's an enormous reach with Facebook. Everyone and their mother, literally my mother is on Facebook. It seems like everyone and their mother is using Facebook, and it's getting to that point. They have some data out there as far as the reach for all of the different demographics, and it does span nearly every demographic. All the age groups are on there. It's not just the teeny boppers, where that's kind of a misconception out there that only the millennials are using Facebook. Well, I just let you know that my mother's actually on it. There's lots of older folks using Facebook, and then because they're on there, they are receiving ads, and we're able to target them. So you can see it spans the age groups, all the different locations, both urban, suburban, rural. It spans all the income levels, education levels. So the reach is incredible. I'll also note, since it's a frequently asked question, can you use Facebook ads for B2B businesses? And the answer is yes. You are able to target people that work in different industries, as well as what their different job titles in those companies. and that's because people do put that in their profiles. All right, so that's why you would choose to advertise. Now let's dive into why choose Main Street ROI. So I'm going to touch on, I think, 6 reasons here. First one, we're an industry authority. I mentioned we publish a lot of free training on lots of different topics, including Facebook advertising. I mentioned we're published on a lot of the big media outlets. I also have a column in on a magazine, Target Marketing Magazine. So we're industry authority. We're actually teaching this stuff every day. We also provide results. By that I mean we're not just trying to get a ton of impressions. We're not just trying to get a ton of clicks for our clients. We're actually trying to drive leads and sales, and we have the conversion tracking set up to measure those results. I'm going to talk about this later. We use a proven process for setting up the accounts and then managing and optimizing those accounts. We're not a cookie cutter agency. By that I mean we're not just clicking a button or copying an account and applying that to every business. We realize every business is unique, and we do the necessary research for each of our clients. And then on an ongoing basis, we're doing the optimization necessary specifically for each client. We're not just applying edits across the board. We're also not a black box. We're an open book. We're very transparent as far as what we're doing for our clients, as well as billing, which is not always the case with agencies. Other agencies, what I call black box. I mean, you might be sending them a check for $2,000 a month, and you really have no idea how much of that money is going to the advertising and how much of that money is going to the agency to manage those ads. And we're 100% transparent. We have a line item for our management fee, and then we actually set up the ad accounts in our clients' names, and the client pays those ad networks directly. So it's totally transparent. It's very clear how much money you're spending on ads and how much money you're paying an agency to help you set up and manage those ads. And last but certainly not least, we're responsive. That's one of our core values that I walk through with every new team member, and just on an ongoing basis, we're emphasizing the importance of responsiveness. That's something that as a client you expect, but unfortunately the feedback that we get is a lot of businesses do not get the attention that they deserve from their agencies, and that's something that we work hard to do for our clients to make sure we're responsive, getting questions answered very quickly, addressing any concerns, and also being there to walk through reports and explain things so that's understandable for each business. All right, I mentioned we have a proven process, so that I'm going to walk through the 5 steps that we use to set up a campaign. And with Facebook, it all starts with that audience research. I mentioned earlier how the targeting capabilities are pretty impressive. That's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because you can laser target your audience. It's a bad thing because it can get pretty complicated pretty quickly and pretty overwhelming for someone who's not experienced with Facebook ads, trying to dig through all the different targeting options and then all the different targeting combinations that you can set up. That can get overwhelming pretty quickly. So we do that research. We put together the targeting options that we want to test, the different what we call ad sets, and we would after that do the ad copywriting for those different audiences that we want to target. So the all starts with the audience targeting. That's who we want to target based on your ideal customers. Then once we have those segments that we want to target. We're going to write the ad copy for those segments. Then we're also going to make sure we have a landing page on your site that is congruent with the targeting and the ad copy. So we can typically we'll recommend building a new landing page. We'll do the copywriting and the development for that landing page. Then we'll set up the conversion tracking. Depending on your business, we would set up, for example, e-commerce tracking to track online sales, phone call tracking if you drive phone calls for your business, web form tracking if you're driving web forms like quote requests, demo requests, or schedule appointment type forms. We would track that as well. And finally, getting it all set up in Facebook and getting all these settings correct. Just a example of that would be making sure that we're targeting the right devices. If you don't have a mobile optimized site, a huge mistake is just leaving the default targeting options in Facebook, which is going to target all the devices. And if you don't have a mobile optimized site, you're just going to be wasting money sending mobile traffic to your site. So you want to make sure you're only targeting the devices that are appropriate for your website and especially your landing page. And then once the campaign is live, so we would get that approved, we'll walk through that with the client, get it approved, go live, then we move on to management or optimization. And what that comes down to is really three core areas. We want to be testing the different audiences. There's likely going to be different combinations that we want to test. In the case study, I'll get into more detail about this. And then we also want to be editing and optimizing the bids and the budgets. By that, I mean we'll have different campaigns, different ad sets where the targeting is different that we're testing. We want to make sure we're allocating the budget to the top performing campaigns and ad sets. So that's what I mean when I say budget optimization. And then bidding, we want to be bidding so that we're getting the best cost for conversion. Then we'll be split testing ads, ad copy, as well as images in Facebook, and also testing different landing pages. And then finally, on a monthly basis, we have a monthly report and a call to walk through that report. One of our marketing consultants would be on that call to explain what's going on with the account, why did certain numbers go up, certain numbers go down, and then ultimately what are we going to do about it, and we'll list our plan of attack for that month. All right, so I have a couple case studies. First one here is a lead gen case study, lead generation. And this company just wanted to increase their leads using Facebook ads. First thing we did, we worked with this client to figure out the targeting options. They are in the health industry, targeting females. So that was obvious. We needed to use gender targeting, but then we were able to figure out additional targeting options by talking with the client as far as, who are those ideal clients, what are they typically interested in, and what's their buying behavior. So armed with that information, we were able to identify the targeting options to reach their ideal prospects. We also discovered that they had some video content, which is a huge resource with Facebook ads. As you can probably imagine, video gets the most engagement on Facebook versus just a static image and text. So if you have video, that can be a a huge asset to get a campaign up and running and driving really good performance very quickly. So we found some video content for this client that they already had. That we found it on their YouTube account. And then we were able to use those videos to create some video ads. And then we didn't do this initially, but this was one way we optimized the account, and we're able to increase the engagement. We added subtitles to those videos. We saw that the performance was going very well with these video ads, and then we were able to improve on that by adding subtitles or closed captions. So basically, if anyone didn't have audio on, let's say, their mobile or on their desktop, they would still be able to engage with the video because we had those subtitles. So just to give you an idea of the results here, I was just looking at the past 3 months, and it was about 50,000 ad impressions per month with a frequency of about 4. And what that means, that's an important number with Facebook, because with Facebook, one person can see the same ad multiple times. So in this case, the same person on average is seeing the ad about 4 times. That's what that means when it says frequency is 4. And then you want to pay attention to the click-through rate, but specifically the unique click-through rate. So all of the unique users that are clicking on the ads. We had over 3% unique click-through rate, which backs out to about 375 clicks per month. And we've been generating about 10 leads per month from about $600 ad spend, which is obviously $60 cost per lead. And that's in the range for this client where it makes sense to them financially. So we're all happy with that performance. And as you can see, the reach is pretty impressive with 50,000 ad impressions, driving a considerable amount of traffic. And even though we're only getting 10 leads, so 10, in this case, form submissions, if you're familiar with retargeting, you can then retarget the traffic that did not convert and then bring them back to the site and improve on that. This next case study is e-commerce. The background here is the company wanted to increase online sales using Facebook ads. And in this case, we built out a lot of different targeting options. We had a remarketing campaign. We have a demographic and interest targeting campaign, a competitor targeting campaign where we're actually typing in some competitors, and Facebook is identifying people interested in those competitor products. Demographic and behavioral targeting. So we're layering on their ideal customers' demographic metrics or data, and then also layering on their behavioral targeting, which means based on how they surf around the internet, so what websites they go to, maybe some of the transactions they've made, some of that purchasing behavior that I talked about earlier. That data is in Facebook, and you can use that to target. So we have these different combinations. We're using interest targeting, where that's just people are interested in certain topics with their demographics. Then we also layered on behavioral plus demographic. And lastly, we did lookalike targeting, which means so we uploaded customers from our client into Facebook. Facebook then matched the customer data to users in Facebook. And then you're able to tell Facebook, I want to find other people that look like the customers I just uploaded. And that's called a lookalike audience. And we were able to, you basically just click a button and you're able to create a lookalike audience that Facebook knows that they have the same demographics, same interests, same behavioral tendencies as your customers. So this was an existing, this was not a startup. So this was actually an established e-commerce business. They just were not advertising yet. So we were able to get some results very quickly for them. And you can see here in the first year, generated $277,000 in sales revenue from about $9,500 in ad spend. In the first month, we were able to generate $26K from about $1,000 in ad spend. And we increased revenue to $52,000 in the second month without increasing the ad investment. And that was basically based on budget optimization. So when we launched the campaign, there were obviously some, when we launched the account, there were a lot of campaigns that weren't working right off the bat, whereas obviously there were some campaigns that were working very well. And very quickly, we turned off the campaigns that were not working, allocated the budget to those campaigns that were working, and that we were able to drive more revenue without actually increasing the ad spend. All right, so let's dive into the schedule and fees. This slide here breaks down in that first column where you see ad setup. Those are the different items that we would complete in the first month. So the Facebook ads campaign setup, that's $500. The custom landing page would be another $500. And if you drive leads and sales via phone calls, I would highly recommend phone call tracking. The tool that we use is Conversa. You can go on their site. There's no markup on this. It is $29 a month for their service. So you can see the total there is $1,029. If you didn't need call tracking, we would just remove that line item. And then the column all the way to the right is the monthly optimization. So once the campaign is approved, ready to go live, we would start the monthly management or monthly optimization. You can see for accounts where they're spending less than $5,000, which is the majority of the clients we work with, that falls under the management fee of $500. The Facebook ad spend depends on your budget. In this example, I'm just using $1,000. That could be higher, it could be lower. And then again, I'm saying that you need call tracking. So that would add up to $1,529. That would obviously change. If you did not need call tracking, we would remove that. And if your ad spend was higher or lower, then that would adjust those numbers. And then our terms, we require upfront payment via credit card. So that would be, the setup would be paid upfront. Once the campaign is approved to go live, that's when we would start the monthly management charge. And then I already mentioned the Facebook ad spend would actually be paid directly to Facebook. And then for existing advertisers, we require a 6-month minimum. For new advertisers, we do not have a minimum. We basically don't lock you in if you're brand new, since you don't have, you may not have the budget to get locked in. So we're flexible in that way. If you wanted to just get started, see if it works for you, we can do that as well. If you're already advertising, then we know that you do have the budget, you're already invested, and we're going to optimize that campaign for you. As far as next steps, if you are interested, I have a poll. Let me see if I can get that. So on your screen, as far as next steps, you can choose that you're interested on the poll, and then one of our marketing advisors will follow up with you to schedule a call. And based on that, we would put together a proposal for you, and the marketing advisor and likely one of our marketing consultants would walk through that proposal, answer any questions you have, and then talk about next steps. All right, I see some answers coming in. Let me close that out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And with that, we'll open it up to Q&A. So again, if you joined late, you should have a chat window where you can chat questions. Let me see. And I am just getting familiar with this new webinar platform. I don't see any questions, I don't think. Yeah, I think everything in here was from the beginning. I think Ricardo was the last message. If you have questions, I will stay on. If you don't, we will close this out. With GoToWebinar, I used to have an exit survey. With this new tool, I have not set up an exit survey. So if you do have feedback, I'd love to hear it. You can just shoot an email to support@mainstreetroi.com. If you had any trouble with this new webinar platform, or if you have questions about the actual presentation, would love to hear that. Okay, I do see some questions. So Thomas asked, do you also use LinkedIn and other social media? So we have some experience with LinkedIn, and it has not worked very well. Our team has some experience. I personally have experience as well with LinkedIn ads. Haven't found too much success there. It obviously depends on your type of business. So that may be a good opportunity. But to answer your question, we primarily focus on Google AdWords advertising, Facebook ads, and Bing ads. I mentioned we've done some LinkedIn, not too much success there, so it's not really a core focus. And with Facebook, you also can advertise in Instagram. Facebook owns them, so we have done that, but we don't have experience with Twitter ads, if that's what you're asking. Gene said, what did you say the monthly fee was? Let me just pull that back up. So the monthly fee was right here, this $500. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Doesn't look like you can. So 500 for ad spends less than 5,000 a month. For larger accounts, the monthly management fee does go up. As you can imagine, larger accounts do require more work to manage those and optimize. All right, are you sharing the presentation later? Yes, we will be sending a replay. I will note again, though, this is the first time with Webinar Jam. There's no record button. It's supposed to be recording automatically. I assume that is going to work with no problems, but it is a possibility that there's a hiccup here. I'm hoping to send the replay by tomorrow. We generally get it out within 24 hours, but there may be a technical glitch. Sol asked a good question here. Do you have any thoughts about how the effectiveness of Facebook advertising may change after the, I'll paraphrase, issues with Facebook's data breach and Russian misuse of Facebook ads? So my thoughts there are Google's definitely going to be more careful with third parties. And by that, I mean, I think it's going to be more difficult to integrate into Facebook's data. So there's different third-party tools out there. For example, a tool like Hootsuite that you might be familiar with allows you to post messages to all your different social media. I imagine over the years it's going to be harder and harder for those companies to access Facebook data. I think they're going to basically build a wall. This is just my feeling. I don't have any insider information from Facebook, but I would imagine that is their plan to really keep their data in-house. So you'll have to go into Facebook to get that data. That intuitively makes sense to me. They're going to be very careful with how they share that data. But as far as targeting goes, with all online targeting, they anonymize the information. So they're not technically sharing any personal identifying information with advertisers. So I don't really see that being a concern. Carly, as far as a monthly requirement, I mentioned existing advertisers, we do like to have a 6-month minimum. We do like to have a long commitment, not a long commitment, a long relationship with our clients. So we do like to be in the mindset on both sides of, hey, we're going to get together, work on this for the long run, rather than, hey, let's just work on this for a month. So we do like that. However, we are flexible if that's not doable. So it's definitely worth a discussion with the marketing advisor if that's your only hurdle. For new advertisers, we definitely understand it might not make sense for you to test for a full 6 months. So if that is the case, we don't lock in new advertisers. So you don't have to worry about that. Gene, you said it would not render in Google Chrome. I'm not sure what you were referring to. So Gene, if you could clarify your comment about not rendering in Google Chrome, I can answer that. Okay, so I'll add another good follow-up here. It seems like the practice of uploading one's email list to Facebook in order to use for Facebook advertising is a common practice. Do you recommend this, and does this violate the sanctity of the email list in any way? That is a great question, and I do want to state I am not a lawyer, and I also want to let everyone know that's international. There are new regulations with the EU. I am not totally up to speed with that since we work primarily with US-based businesses and marketing to people in the US. But if you're doing any marketing in Europe, then you certainly want to take a close look at the new privacy laws that are going into effect. I think literally today. But if we're just talking about U.S. Issues here, then yes, I would definitely recommend first with your email list. With any type of email marketing, you want to segment that list. Let's say you have a list of customers, then I would certainly upload that to Facebook, create a custom audience of your customers. That would then allow you to show Facebook ads just to your customers. For example, you could do some upsell ads, cross-sell ads, or maybe even just nurturing ads to further educate them and increase retention. Then you can also segment your email list based on the products and services that they're interested in, but they're not yet customers, and then show ads to assist in that sales cycle. And that can be very effective, especially with companies that have longer sales cycles. Let's say you get somebody that requests a quote on your site, and you know that your sales cycle is 1 to 2 or maybe even 3 months. And that's going to be with, let's say, a salesperson offline with like phone calls, in-person meetings. Then you could take that list of quote requests, upload that to Facebook, and now you have a list of folks that are in contact with your sales team, and you can show them sales material that would assist in your sales team closing that deal. For example, a great example would be any testimonials that you have, video testimonials. I met with a client yesterday, and we were talking about video testimonials, and that led us to the idea of advertising those video testimonials in a remarketing campaign. And what we're talking about here is basically a form of remarketing. You could do it just with a pixel on your site, or you can do it or you can do it with a custom audience by uploading those email addresses. Oh, and Drew, correct me, I think it's May 25th is when the GDRP goes into effect. So I'm off by 6 days there. Carly, to answer your question, is a $500 ad set up for each ad? No, that's for the campaign, and the campaign will likely have multiple ad targets or ad sets with different audiences that we're targeting, and then within those ad sets, multiple ads that we would be testing. And then Gene, you said the video would not render. And I apologize. Are you saying the screen sharing is not rendering? Hopefully everyone can see this screen. Let me just switch it and then go back. You should be able to see the Facebook ads schedule and fees. All right, I don't see any more questions. I'll give it one more minute. Gene, thanks for clarifying. You said the webinar would not start in Chrome. Okay, I apologize for that. I am actually using Chrome to present this. So it could be an operating system issue or conflict, maybe a different version of Chrome that you're using. But it sounds like it worked eventually. Oh, Carly said she had the same issue, had to hit reconnect. Okay, that's good to know. All right, I don't see any other questions. I appreciate the feedback. I will try to get the technical glitches cleaned up here for our next session. In the meantime, if you have any questions or more feedback, just shoot an email to support@mainstreetroi.com. I'm hoping that those polls worked, and everyone that requested a follow-up, we will be following up with you. If it did not work, then unfortunately I will be following up with the replay, and I'll likely just ask that same question. Appreciate the patience as we work out these glitches. But with that, hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday and enjoy the weekend. Hopefully you got some nice weather where you are. All right, everyone, take care.